lush green fields of the Philippines, rolling through tropical village scenes. New friends made along the way, sharing stories at the break of day.
Hello and welcome to Arizona Trails of Philippine Tales. My name is Steve and this is week number 79 of the Philippine House Build. Now, before we get into that, again, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, just as long as it treats you and your money well. Here is Tinfoil Hat to Retirement.
Put on the tinfoil hat. Labor stats came in, they were trash on arrival, so they fired the whole team, call it jobless survival. Jim Cramer's yelling buy while the market's in flames. Is this 1987 or just Wall Street games? Learn to read the charts, not the farts. Gold's climbing high while equity departs. Kamala's in the hood, Zohan's got a cop. Recession's knocking, will the bubble ever pop? White folks in crime stats, jeans now Nazi cheek. America loves its queens thick and medically weak. Work till you're 80, says the Fed with a grin, while banks join the blockchain and XRP moves in. Be careful with hormones, they're messing with minds. And male representation, pick your favorite kind. Crypto's the new cash, or maybe just a fad. Is America leading or hopelessly bad? Jail the insider traders, let the truth unfold. What's holding up the economy? Just vibes and fool's gold. When will men man up? Maybe never, who knows? But hey, at least we got recession rodeos.
Alright, that was Tinfoil Hat to Retirement. Now, I know I said that I was going to go ahead and do outside only. However, there was a logistics issue on the inside. You know, it's just something that you need to think about. And even when you make a plan, there's two types of actions that can be done. One, it is what it is, or two, can you fix it? So one of the issues was here in the laundry room, and I think I mentioned this before when talking about the floors, like in the bathroom. You have a 1-inch drop down in the bathroom, and I think it's just for water drainage and other things like that. And they did that 1-inch drop for the laundry room as well, and I pointed that out in a previous video. And what we're looking at here, so we had measured the washer and dryer, and it was supposed to fit in this square piece right here, and we had put the washer or the dryer here and the washer there. And what we ended up discovering was that the orientation of the washer and dryer really needs to be like this, because if it's like this, then you can't use these cabinets over here. You know, you just so they got the electrical over here, they got the water that goes for the washer here, and then the way that the drainage is set, so excess water goes through that tube there. So we have to discover what we want to really do. This is just temporary for right now. When we mentioned it to them yesterday, when they finally unboxed our washer and dryer, they just stuck a piece of wood there to make it level. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill this up, cement everything back up, and make sure everything's ground level. And then that way we've got a nice orientation between the washer and the dryer. The other issue, of course, was the electrical. So I think what they're going to do is somehow attach this electrical up on the wall, somewhere like here or something. So have it set like this, and then that way it will come around to that electrical over there. So this is just a temporary setup. Again, when you're in the Philippines, adapt and overcome, I guess. And this is sort of what you get. I mean, it's a pretty good sized dryer and washing machine. The only thing is it's different. Usually dryers will have an exhaust vent. There is no exhaust vent on these dryers. As a matter of fact, the way that they dry the clothes, so you got a heat and dryer here, but then you have a tank that collects the water. So that was sort of new for me as an American. And then washer was sort of the same. The washer, it's one of those ones, we actually had a Whirlpool one like this before. And basically it was set up to where, you know, it measures the water and it puts the right amount of water in. And the only difference is the water drainage just goes out that little pipe right there. All right, so this was the one issue that happened on the inside. You know, the bathrooms I don't mind so much, because when you walk into a bathroom, this is pretty much what you're doing. You're taking an inch step down into the bathroom, and they just do that, I think, for drainage and water purposes, maybe from the shower or something. And they thought that they needed to do it for the washer and dryer area as well. I mean, they created the water spout, they created the drainage, and then they had the electrical here, thinking that the orientation was going to be this way, which it would have fit that way, but we wouldn't have been able to use those two cabinets there on the end. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to the outside. All right, we are going to go on to the outside. It's already a busy, early Sunday morning. And then this material right here that they delivered. So this material right here is going to be actually for the lanai area. It's going to be what's going to be put on the top. We were going to put a clear plastic up, but instead I think we went with a bronze. And then since it is morning, the sun is just now starting to come up. And we'll see where we are with the solar. So now that we can take a look here at the solar. So early in the morning, the charge of the batteries is at 46%. So still not too bad. And it is, the sun's starting to come up. And what are we using as far as, so the solar now is producing, looks like about 4 kilowatts. Let's see here, escape. So we're only using about 0.7 kilowatts in the house right now. Hardly anything's being used inside the house, and no electric is coming in from the electric company. All right, so that's sort of what we're using right now. Batteries again, it's flashing, starting to charge. It went down to about 2 levels, and of course that's around 40% charged right now as of this morning. And then, so we are starting some work out here as well. So as you can see, they've dug some holes here, and they're even with the columns. So it's even with this particular column for the garage. And then we've got a hole started right here. So the fence line, or this would be where the gate is, right here. So gate coming in this way into the garage area. We also bought some, if you look up at the roof, so we did buy some lights. So they are getting that finished there with the electrical. And but they are still bringing in dirt here and pounding the dirt. And all right, so let's start here. So instead of decorative wall and decorative screens, we decided to go with a bar system. So they put up bars in this area. Right now the white is sort of a rust protectorant, and then of course they'll paint it. So that's what they're using. So again, we'll still have a view from our lanai that goes out this way. I'm just going to take a look here. So this will be the view from the lanai area. Lots of trees, lots of vegetation. It's like you're out in the jungle. Speaking of the lanai, so a lot of the scaffolding is done. They're just sanding everything right now. So we'll take a look up here. What they're going to do again is sand. And so they'll sand all this, and they're still working on it. They're trying to also clean up any paint and other things, and then they'll varnish this. So we do have pillars that goes up, and then of course the plastic that I showed you out there in the garage will be a bronze film that goes over the top. So that way it will provide a little bit more shade here on the lanai and also protect from the rain and a little bit of the shade from the sun. So that's good that they're doing that. And then our painter gave us a couple of options here on all the accents of the house. So we wanted our accents to be gray. Well, this was the gray that they gave us. And then they gave us this kind of a color as well for all of our accents. So Flora, she did choose this one. And then, so all of our accents will end up being that color. So like the accents, so the top part of the roof. So this area, so all the walls that stick out like this will be gray. I don't know if the canopies will also be gray. So I think anything that has an accent will have that color. So that's sort of what we decided on for that. And then we'll just continue walking around here. Oh. So again, just lights for this. They got to make this ground level. Again, I'm pretty sure the ground level's got to come up to here, but I don't know. They might not. Let's see here. Because when you look at these steps over here, it's sort of already ground level. I mean, it's going to go to that first step. So maybe the ground is only going to be here instead of up to here, which I thought could be the possibility. But nope, it looks like not even this first step. So yeah, I think that is considered ground level. But I don't know. We'll see as they're continuing to fill the dirt out. So again, still filling out the dirt. And we'll come across this way. So looks like they stopped right here with the dirt as we walk back here. Oh. All right, so a lot of this is the same. Haven't done much back here, I don't think. Yep, still ground level, working on the pipes and the drainage that will come out here. So this is our back corner of the wall. Again, this is our water tower. They're still working on that drainage. So power supplies. Now you can actually see the pump, the booster pump that shoots the water up. So definitely a lot of different lines coming in for the plumbing. Nice thing too, they've sort of sped up on the wall as well, which that is a really nice issue. I'm glad they're trying to develop this wall a little bit more, going all the way down. All right, so see, now we've gotten further with the wall. The turkeys and the chickens sometimes like to come over here. So once our wall is built, that gobbler down there won't be coming in. So again, this wall should be about this high. Not too bad of a view that's above it. And then again down the road here. So they got these columns, and then they're continuing the wall here. All right, so last week, I think this is where the end of the wall was last week. So within 1 week, they've done concreting down below to make the base stronger. So some concreting there, put the rebar in. This is the mixer, and that's where they mix the concrete. And then once we're over this way, all right, so still concrete areas. They just have to put a box around these and do like the columns down there, fill them up with concrete, and then that will give a little bit more stability to the walls. Right in here, still concrete, still working on different things here. Oh. Now, of course, this is wood here. It's going to be varnished as well. Turkey got out of here pretty fast. So again, this is going to be varnished wood. It's almost in its final stage there. Eventually this will be torn down, and then all the ground will be dug up and then used to fill in things. So we're almost got everything here. So, all right. Still, like I said, accents need to be painted. But since this wall is already tiled a grayish color, this still should be painted white. So hopefully this is painted white all in here. As far as this tiles, this is just for the porch area. I asked Flora if we were going to tile these garage columns, if we were going to tile these or not. I think what we're going to do is have the painter try and paint a grayish color, or to make it look like the tiles are over there. Again, just the lights that we chose. We need one for the middle, and then we need, looks like 2 more for the roof. Let's take a look here. So, yep. So that far one, that one will end up being like these right here. And that's about the outside walk around. All right, so that is the outside for week number 79 of the Philippine house build. Hopefully we get this wall finished in the next week, maybe the next couple of weeks. I know there's a few levels there. They need to continue the wall towards the front, and then once they do that, then of course the wall will continue out this way, and then you have the 2 pillars for the gate, or the gate should be right here for the garage area. All right. Thank you again for joining Arizona Trails and Philippine Tales for week number 79 of the Philippine house build. You have a great day. Bye-bye.